Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, I've got a question. How many of you out there have the goal of a GMRS repeater? This guy had that goal too. And I'm going to tell you, for the people that are working class, barely getting by, don't have a whole lot of money to blow on that stuff, the easiest way to get into owning a repeater, I'm pretty much going to tell you how I've come through the struggle. I came through the struggle of GMRS with talking through somebody else's repeater. I moved to a place that nobody uses GMRS. So, and all my, nobody uses UHF. Let me rephrase that, because we got to get into the amateur. I got my amateur ticket so I could talk on 2 meters, but I didn't have any radios that did that besides my handheld, and my handheld sucks inside the house. That I don't want to get straight. How many people live on the fringes of a repeater and try to use their handheld and sound like shit coming over it? This guy? Oh wait, not anymore, because my antenna is right next to me. But I can go all over the place with this. I get a little giddy when I start talking about the network, because I love my network. The network is awesome. I don't want to call it mine. It's our network. Without the people on the network would not be the network. And, I don't want to call it, I hate the fact that I call it a network. I'd rather just call it a repeater. Because when one receive radio hears something, it repeats it to everywhere. Every station is connected to one hub, and it broadcasts whatever that receive radio is picking up. It broadcasts it over the internet to all the other transmitters across the entire network. That's where it comes into having network. But, I've come to realize that having a repeater costs a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money to blow on a repeater. Thus, if you look up on the YouTube channel, my GMRS repeater, I think it's the Plover 675 repeater, made out of junk, what people would call junk, because it's got a transmitter of a handheld. But I want to kind of go over the quickest and easiest way to get into the GMRS as a hobby, especially if you live somewhere where there is no repeaters, or you live somewhere that there is a repeater and you don't have a base station. All you have is a handheld, and you're sick and tired of the people, oh, you sound like crap. Well, I'm here to tell you can do something about that. For less than $200, we're going to throw that number out there. For less than $200, you can access the network. It varies on price, because if you have something like this already, this could be very easily used. For less than $100, you could be talking on the network tomorrow. Well, probably after Christmas, because everything is probably slowed down for shipping wise. But you got something like that laying around and you're not using it, you can hook it up to a sound card, plug it into a Raspberry Pi, and boom. As long as you have internet, you're connected, and you're talking across the country. Baby steps. I started with a high-powered simplex station, worked my way down to a handheld simplex station, and eventually somebody overheard the simplex station, and there's 2 different beeps on the software, one for network traffic and one for local sided traffic. And I kept hearing my local sided traffic, and there was a gentleman that had a base station, and he just wasn't making it to my handheld inside the house. So I was out on the back porch, and I can hear him, but in the wintertime, I don't want to stand on the back porch to hear him. So I spent a few extra dollars to make my junk repeater, and now I've got a repeater with a very low profile, but it's got a very big footprint. And I did all of this in the course of the last year and a half, actually, because I never really cared if anybody else could get into it. But once I did get somebody into it, then I started caring a little bit more because somebody showed an interest. But then that person doesn't talk on it anymore. And I just recently picked up another one that's only a couple blocks away, and we could talk simplex. Matter of fact, he actually started talking to me on simplex, not realizing he needed an offset frequency to talk through the repeater. I'm talking with somebody, actually I hear him, and I respond, and then somebody on the network responds to me, responding to him because they didn't hear him, because the repeater has an offset frequency. But that was kind of funny. I got called nuts because they thought I was talking to myself. But anyways, GMRS could be expensive, radio could be expensive, but it doesn't really have to be, and that's what I'm trying to prove to the point. You don't have to go out and spend a small fortune on a repeater for nobody to use it. At first you have to care about numero uno, just yourself, and the ability to talk. I like to talk, thus my 7-minute video. Over 7 minutes by the time I conclude. I don't care where I'm talking, as long as I'm talking to somebody and it's on a handheld, not a fucking cell phone. I don't want to be tied down to a desk or a base station or a car. With the simplex node in my house, whoever I'm talking to, I sound good. I don't sound all broken up and staticky. I started making these simplex kits kind of on demand. I'm going to phrase that out. On demand. If somebody wants to order them, they could just comment below their email address and I can email them. Or you can go to the website and go to the contact us part, the email us, and ask for information about it. I do have one ask when I am making them. It could take me up to 3 weeks to get it back to you. And I do, with the holidays and stuff, I am short the funds to front people to get the hardware for this stuff. But I don't charge the people anything over for me to modify these things. I charge what it costs for the radios, for the sound cards, and for the pies. I do it for 2 reasons, and one of them is the joy of communicating with that person on the radio. Second of which is figuring out how to solder correctly, which I've gotten pretty good at. I feel kind of bad that I've made a couple of the simplex stations. I think I've made about 8 of them. And I can only tell you, we've got one that stays connected to us 24/7, but the person has never talked to us. I bet I could pull up the status page right now and see Topeka, Kansas, where it says never. It's there. Thanks for staying connected. But then there's a couple mobile ones, and the guy connects when he's out in the car. Great. He told me that's what he was doing with it. And then there was a couple base station ones that people were going to have at home, and I don't know where they are. But at least I got the joy of fucking up their shit first. No, I didn't fuck it up. I back it. If I created it, I will back it. If it doesn't work, send it back and I'll fix it. But I try to test things out. It takes about 3 weeks because I got to order the hardware, find the time to put it together, and then I tried to test it out for a couple days to make sure that it gets beaten to shit. So if you get it and it's working, then it's been beaten, it's been put through the torture, so you know it's going to work for you. And like I said, I'll stand behind what I do. Just let me know that it's not working and send it back. I'll fix it for you. GMRS.network.